It takes concentration, physical skill, mental toughness, and the most advanced handguns and gear yet developed to win what has now become the most prestigious pistol competition in the world. This is Tom Kelly, and welcome to the National Rifle Association's National Action Pistol Championship, also known as the NRA Bianchi Cup.
Thanks, Tom. I'm Lenny McGill, welcoming you to Columbia, Missouri, home of the National Rifle Association's National Action Pistol Championship, which is also known as the NRA Bianchi Cup. Over the past 15 years, this event has grown to become the premier action shooting championship in the world. This year, more than 200 men, women, and juniors will compete for over $250,000 in cash and prizes. And the competition is more intense than ever before, as the top shooters from Canada, Australia, Japan, and the United States will face 4 challenging courses of fire in their quest for the $15,000 first place prize and the coveted NRA Bianchi Cup trophy. Only one shooter gets to take home this trophy cup, and he must prove himself in each of these 4 different courses of fire. The Tasco Barricade event, where competitors shoot from behind a 6-foot barricade at distances out to 35 yards. The Gilmore Practical event, where competitors shoot from distances of 10 to 50 yards. The NRA Falling Plates, featuring 48 8-inch steel plates. And the Mail Order Video Moving Target event, where competitors shoot at a target moving across range at 10 feet per second. So stay with us. The shooting action of the NRA Bianchi Cup gets underway right after this.
The NRA Bianchi Cup is being brought to you by Action Target Incorporated, Colts Manufacturing, Gilmore Sports Concepts, Mail Order Video, the National Shooting Sports Foundation, Tasco Optics, Winchester Ammunition, and the National Rifle Association of America. Welcome back to the NRA Bianchi Cup. Our first shooter up at the Tasco Barricade event is Mickey Fowler, the 10-yard line, where he has 5 seconds to fire 6 shots.
Stand by. Ready? Stand by. Ready?
Fowler is a 3-time winner of the NRA Bianchi Cup. He won back in 1980, 81, and 1982. He's still actively involved in competition shooting, and this year, he's shooting better than ever before.
Yeah, so far so good. You know, this is kind of like the Bermuda Triangle of shooting, so you never know what's going to happen, but I feel fine for where we are now. Never want to get too happy around here.
Anything could happen, I guess.
Yeah, you know, if the numbers, all the cherries roll up in a row, you win, and if they don't, you don't. But if there was an analogy I'd make, it would be between Indianapolis and Grand Prix. The Indy 500, you got 4 corners, and everybody has to make the same 4 corners, and if you touch the wall, you're gone. In IPSC, it's more like the Monaco Grand Prix. You can lay a wheel in the dirt, you can even spin out and come back, but you can't do that here.
Ready? Ready! Where's your ammo?
Mickey Fowler completes the Tasco Barricade event with an excellent score, 480 points and 45 X's. Now, let's switch over to the Gilmore Practical event, where Christy Rogers is at the 10-yard line.
Christy Rogers has been shooting this NRA Bianchi Cup for 9 years. Her husband, Bill Rogers, is also competing in this event. Both are excellent shooters. In fact, Christy was the women's overall champion 2 different times.
Christy now must fire 3 shots at each target with her left hand in 8 seconds or less. Now watch the draw as she transfers her revolver to her non-shooting hand.
Nice shooting for Christy Rogers. She'll go on to complete the Gilmore Practical event with a score of 472 points and 23 X's.
All of our competitors will be shooting in 4 matches that count towards the overall championship. In 3 of these events, they'll be shooting at the official NRA Bianchi Cup target that features 4 scoring areas. The inner 4-inch diameter circle is scored as an X, which is used for breaking ties and counts for 10 points. The 8-inch circle also counts 10 points. The 12-inch diameter circle scores 8 points, and the rest of the target scores 5 points. An entire miss, of course, scores 0. Each competitor fires 48 shots per event for a possible score of 480 points and a grand total of 192 shots and 1,920 possible points.
Back over at the Tasco Barricade event, Don Golombiski is shooting very aggressively with a perfect score so far. He's now at the 25-yard line, shooting 6 shots in 7 seconds.
Golombiski is a top-notch gunsmith who resides in Mesa, Arizona. He builds the custom race guns that many of the shooters are using for this event.
Ready!
Excellent shooting for Don Golombiski. Look at his target, 12 10s and 11 X's. He told us this match has really turned into a precision course of fire.
Over the past, I'd say, 4 years, that has really become more and more so each and every year an X count match, which requires us to shoot the centers of the targets out versus, just shooting 10s and shooting a clean score as years previous.
Golombiski finishes up the Tasco Barricade event with 480 points and 47 X's. He's now the overall leader.
Now over at the mail-order video moving target event, here's Tomo Hasegawa at the 10-yard line. You've got to love that custom revolver he's got there. It's a one-of-a-kind gun built by Power Custom. And he looks happy with that run. Looking at his target, we'll see lots of X's and 1 out there in the 10 ring. Now here he is in the 15-yard line. Nice looking target. Looks like 5 X's, 1 10. Shooting perfect so far. And that's a good-looking shot at his revolver, but I think he threw a shot out, and he did, in fact. Look, he's got an 8 there on the left-hand side of the target, so he's down 2 points. Now he's back at the 25-yard line. As you know, from this distance, you shoot 3 shots at the target. It passes by 4 different times for a total of 12 shots from this distance. And there's 3 nice X's. Very confident, nice looking, as there's all 10s there, so he's still clean from this distance. Still clean from this distance, looking good. Nice follow through and very little recoil with that revolver, and he's got a clean target there from 25 yards. Now back at the 35-yard line. Nice looking target, 3 X's. You see he adjusted his scope there for the lead. And it's time to reload. So he's got 6 10s there, looking good from this final distance. That's still clean. Looks like we've got a technicality here. You've only got 6 minutes to shoot the entire course of fire, and Tomo ran out of time. So he missed the last 3 shots, which is 30 points, and he had an 8 there, so that's 2. So he's down 32 points with 34 X's. Nice shooting, but a technicality will put him out of the lead or out of the running for this year's event. Now here's Bruce Pyatt at the mail-order video moving target event. He's a former champion from the 10-yard line. Nice shooting for Bruce. You can see he's got a lot of control over that pistol and good follow-through. Nice wide shot of the range there for you. Now here he is back at the 15-yard position. Nice shooting for Mr. Pyatt. He, of course, is shooting for Caspian Arms. You can see all of his shots are grouped up just a little high there. They're all 10s, but a low X count. So here he is now on the second pass at 15 yards. That's quite an unusual looking pistol with the shroud, and still not a bad looking group though. He's got all 10s looking clean from this position. Here he is at 25 yards. Three shots, a nice follow through, and all X's. Got to keep that gun moving. You can see how he keeps tracking the target all the way through. And he's got all 10 still. Still clean from the 20-yard line. And he's got all 10, so Bruce has a real good chance of going clean here. Now he's back at the final position. Nice shot of his Caspian Arms firearm. Three nice X's. Uses the entire X ring. Whoops. Looks like he threw one up there. Could be -2, or that could actually be creasing the line. We'll have to see how it scores out. And that one is definitely creasing the line, but the one there at about 11 o'clock may be out into the 8 ring. Nice concentration for Bruce, and he does, in fact, drop 2 points with 36 X's. It's a very good run. I did talk to Bruce about his preparation for this year's NRA Bianchi Cup.
Practice has been, I've only had 3 or 4 days to practice. I don't get too much of a chance to get out and shoot, so just make sure the gun works good and just show up and do whatever practice I can, both at home and here. And then mentally, I just try to forget about everything. You know what to do when you get on the line. So it's just a matter of just not letting the pressure get to you. Just relax and get out there and watch the gun go off, and it seems to work.
Now here's Lee Wilkinson here at the Tasco Barricade event. He's shooting from the first position, the 10-yard line. He's a junior shooter from Australia. And you can see he had a little trouble getting the gun out of the holster, but he did manage to squeeze off all 6 shots for 6 10s. Now here he is on the other side. And another nice target with 5 X's and 1 out in the 10 ring there. Now back at the 15-yard line. A little bit more relaxed pace. He's got 6 seconds to shoot all 6 shots, and you can see he tears a hole in the middle of that 10 ring.
Stand by. Ready?
Yeah, that extra second really helps out. You can see
Stand by.
Lee has a very good target. So now we're moving back.
Ready?
And from the 25-yard line, he's got, looks like about 5 X's and 1 10.
Ready?
And nice looking target there. It's pretty typical that most
Stand
shooters will
by.
shoot better from
Ready?
the right side of the barricade, even though you're pulling the trigger with your left hand. You can see his shots there are a little bit more scattered out. Let's see how he does now here from 35-yard lines on the right side. And a nice looking target and a good way to finish for Lee Wilkinson from Australia. 480 points, a clean score, 41 X's, a nice barricade event for the Australian, the young Australian.
Stand by.
Now here's Rob Latham
Ready?
from the 25-yard line at the Tasco barricade event. And Rob peppers the inside of that target for 6 X's. Rob's already dropped 2 points at the 15-yard line, so he's down 2. He needs to clean this event from here on out to stay in the running. And Rob's piling up the X's. You can see there's another 6 X's. Good looking target for Rob Latham. Back
Stand
now at the
by.
35-yard line, the final position.
Ready?
Another nice looking target. He did drop 1 out there in the 10 ring, but he's piling up the X's, and the X's do
Stand by.
come in to be very important in the overall scoring of this match. And you can see it there. There's 12 X's in that X ring there. Nice shooting for Rob Latham. He'll finish up the Tasco barricade event with 478 points and 46 X's.
With the revolver, I feel real comfortable that I can work within the parameters. It's like a kind of like a governor. There's a certain speed you can work it at,
Right.
and with that, I feel very confident that I can shoot 480s everywhere. But my X count suffers because I don't have enough time to really let the dot stop moving between shots. I don't jerk very many shots with the auto, with the revolver, but I don't feel I can really punch a good X count. So since it's turned into an X count race now, I don't have much choice, but I'll shoot an auto next year because I need more X's, and I have to use an auto to get that.
Stand by. Ready?
Now, here's another Australian shooter. It's Brian Kilpatrick at the Tasco barricade event. Rips off 6 X's at the 10-yard line. Brian, of course, was the high scorer last year at this event. Now, he wasn't the national champion, but he did place first in the overall competition. And because he's from Australia, of course, he can't be the national champion, and that's really what that's all about. But again, another excellent target from the right side of the barricade. Brian's a very good shooter, and there's a very good contingent of shooters from Australia. And you can see he's got this barricade event somewhat mastered. 12 X's in that small little area. Shooting a perfect score from that position and on. So now let's move back with Brian Kilpatrick to the 25-yard line. And once again, a big hole in the center. So Brian has got a perfect target and perfect score to this point. Excellent shooting by the Australian. I tell you, these Australians really take this NRA action style shooting very seriously. There's a big competition, big contingent of gentlemen down there, big team that shoot and practice year round. Brian Kilpatrick drops 1 out in the 10 ring there, but he's still got a perfect score going here. So he's dropped 1 X so far.
Ready?
Excellent shooting for Brian Kilpatrick. He's dropped 4 X's overall in the Tasco barricade event here in 1994. 480 points, 44 X's. Nice shooting for the Australian. Congratulations, really.
Clear.
Now let's pick up Tomo Hasegawa at the 25-yard line here at the Tasco Barricade event. A nice look at his exotic pistol. And a nice looking target. You can tell that these shooters always are going to just keep following through no matter what. They're going to click that last cylinder even if it's empty. And another nice looking target for Tomo. So he'll move back now to the 35-yard line, the last position, from the right side first. He'll just keep clicking the cylinder, and he's got a good-looking target on the right side. Let's see how he does from the 35-yard line on the left side. They started to walk there a little bit, but he's got all 10s, so he'll finish up with 480 points and 43 X's, and I'm sure he's happy about that. Nice-looking target, nice shooting Tomo. Yeah, all right. This is Bill Rogers at the Gilmore Sports Concepts practical event. Here he's at the 10-yard line. He's got 2 targets to shoot at, 1 shot at each target. And you can see the X's there with the dots that we've represented on the targets. Now 2 shots at each target. And again, nice looking target there. 3 X's. Now weak hand only, 3 shots. And nice shooting for Bill Rogers, all 10s. Now, of course, Bill is an inventor, and he works with Safariland. He's invented many of the products at Safariland markets, including the 009 holsters.
Stand by. Ready.
That's 2 shots on each target there.
Stand by. Ready.
And then 3 shots on each target. He looks good. Bill's been shooting very well. Been shooting the Bianchi Cup for, I'd say, at least 10 years.
Ready.
And it's 1 shot per target.
Stand
Now
by.
he'll shoot 2 shots per target from the 35-yard line.
Ready.
Looking good, all 10s.
Stand by. Ready.
Still clean. You know, Bill's never won this event,
Stand
but he's
by.
consistently in the top 20.
Ready.
Now back at 50-yard lines, 1 shot per target. Nice follow through.
Stand by.
Bill shows great consistency. From everything from going down to prone, to drawing the pistol, to shooting, following through. It's the same every time. And that's probably a key to his success. You can see he finishes up with a perfect score, 480 points, 39 X's. Great shooting for Bill Rogers here at the NRA Bianchi Cup. Now here's Lorna Pavelka. She's also going to be at the practical event. 10 yards. One shot on each target. We only got 3 seconds there, and she's got 2 X's. Nice shooting for Lorna.
Ready!
Now 4 seconds.
Ready!
And this is the weekend section. This is where it gets a little tougher. And she manages to get through there pretty good. She dropped 2 points on the left-hand target.
Stand by!
Now back at the 15-yard lines, it's 1 shot on each target.
Stand by! Ready!
Lorna is a 2-time ladies champion of this event. And her husband Mario has won the international portion of this event probably, I think, 2 or 3 times. And she's shooting strong here. Now she's back to the 35-yard line again. 1 shot per target. 2 10s. Looking good.
Ready!
And this will be her last run at the 35-yard line. Standing next to her is Mickey Fowler. They've got 3 shots on each target.
Ready! Ready!
It's a long way out there, 50-yard line. Those targets look awfully small, much less the X ring.
Ready!
And now here is the final position. 3 shots on each target from 50 yards in 9 seconds.
Unload, show clear.
And she finishes with 468 points and 22 X's.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Now here we are at the falling plate event. Here's Villavon, and I'll forget that last name or skip that last name. She's at the 10-yard line.
Stand by. Ready?
Making it look easy. 6 shots and 6 plates.
6 left, 6 right. Stand by. Ready?
Now back at the 15-yard line. And you shoot a total of 12 plates per distance
6 left, 6 right.
for a total of 4 distances and 48 plates. Each plate represents 10 points, so there's 480 points. This is the second run at 15 yards. And she's clean to date. Looking good. Plenty of time. Nice shooting. Just got that last shot in before the buzzer. So she's clean now. It's time to move back to the 25-yard line. One more string and she'll have a clean run here. at the Falling Plate event sponsored by the National Rifle Association. She looks happy. 480 points, 48 X's. Nice shooting for Villavan from the Philippines. Nice shooting.
Over at the Gilmore Sports Concepts Practical event, John Pride is making his bid for first place.
Pride has already cleaned the Tasco Barricade event with a perfect score of 480 points and 42 X's. In this string, he's at the 50-yard line and will shoot 3 shots on each of 2 different targets in a total time of 15 seconds.
Remember, the 15 seconds includes the draw, going prone, and firing 6 rounds, 3 at each target.
Pride was the overall champion in 1987 and 1988. I asked John what makes this match so challenging.
It's tough. This is it's a very intense. People that don't shoot it, I think it'd be kind of hard to understand the intensity that's involved here, the preparation, and the mental roller coaster ride for 3 days, and you wonder, why am I doing this? And you know you have to at least clean it to be in the run. But it's just something that once you do it, it's in your blood. And there's so many wonderful shooters here from all over the world now, and it's hard. It's very hard on your psyche, your body, and everything. But when it's all over and you pull the big one out or you do well, then it's all worth it. Really.
Nice shooting for John Pride. Another perfect score here at the Gilmore Sports Concepts Practical event. 480 points and 40 X's.
The NRA Bianchi Cup is the national championship of a series of regional action shooting matches held throughout the year across the country. Participation is open to men, women, and juniors who enjoy shooting and friendly competition. For more information on an action shooting match in your area or competition shooting in general, contact the National Rifle Association at their new headquarters at 11250 Waples Mill Road, Fairfax, Virginia. The zip code is 22030, or call 703-267-1462.
Now, back at the Tasco Barricade event, Julie Nowlin is at the 10-yard line, shooting 6 shots in 5 seconds.
Julie is new to NRA action shooting. She's a top-notch IPSC shooter, and this is her first NRA Bianchi Cup.
Julie Nowlin finishes up here at the Tasco Barricade event with a good score, 467 points and 18 X's.
Now over at the mail-order video moving target event is Peter Burgesson. He's come all the way from Australia to compete in the NRA Bianchi Cup. There are actually 25 Australians shooting here this year. They are very serious competitors and have an excellent chance at winning this championship. In fact, last year, Australian Brian Kilpatrick won the overall title and, in effect, took the Bianchi Cup to Australia.
Peter Burgesson goes on to score 478 points out of a possible 480.
Over at the NRA Falling Plate event, here's an American shooter who may be able to bring the cup home. John Pride is still in the lead, and he's shooting very strong. He's at the 25-yard line with 9 seconds to knock down 6 8-inch steel plates.
Excellent shooting by John Pride. He finishes out the NRA Falling Plate event with a perfect score, 48 plates for a total of 480 points, retaining the position right there at the top. Looking at the overall standings now at this time, John Pride is in first place, Don Golombisky in second, Doug Koenig is in third, Mickey Fowler is in fourth, and Rob Latham rounds out the top 5.
Coming up, speed shooting with the Winchester Random Target event and the Action Target Quick 6 when the NRA Bianchi Cup continues.
Welcome back to the National Rifle Association's National Action Pistol Championship right here in Columbia, Missouri. The best pistol shooters in the world have come together to compete for over $250,000 in cash and prizes. I'm Tom Kelly, and our next shooter is up at the Tasco Barricade event. He's Bruce Pyatt shooting 6 shots in 7 seconds from the 25-yard line.
Ready!
Bruce Pyatt has an unusual shooting style, but you've got to love the results. Look at his target, 6 10s and 6 X's. We talked about his return as the national champion and his chances of winning this year. Any added pressure to be back here this year?
Oh yeah, yeah. It makes you a little bit more tense and have a lot more on the back of your mind. So just a little bit more struggle to stay calm. Do the normal things that I do and just try and get out there and shoot good. Anybody can come here and win this. You don't know until the last day. Some unknown shooter that's been home practicing a lot could come here and win if he can control his nerves.
With that last string, Bruce Pyatt takes the overall lead. He finishes the Tasco Barricade event with 480 points and 42 X's.
Lenny, right now I'm over at the National Shooting Sports Foundation Jackpot Shoot. Here, the competitors draw and shoot at 6 knockdown steel targets as fast as they can. Their score is determined by the total time it takes to knock down the 4 different strings. Our first shooter is Jim Griggs.
4, 2, 8. Ready! 3, 4, 1. Ready!
Nice shooting for Jim Griggs. He finishes that run with 3.31 seconds, which gives him an overall total of 15.13 seconds.
Thanks, Tom. I'm now over at another one of the side events, the Action Target Quick 6 event, where 4 targets appear in random order, but 2 of these targets require 2 hits in order to be knocked down. This year, all of the proceeds from this event goes to the Children's Miracle Network. Here's Rob Latham. He's one of the best pistol shooters to ever live. Latham goes on to register a total time of 15.09 seconds at the Action Target Quick 6 event.
Back down at the Falling Plain event, we've got Kay Clark Michalik, one of the best women shooters in the world. She's having a great run at this year's match, and with a perfect score, she could win the women's championship.
Kay Clark Michalik is now at the 20-yard line, where she's got 8 seconds to shoot 6 knockdown steel plates. Nice shooting for Kay Clark Michalik. Now here's her second run at 20 yards. Tom, it looks like her pistol jammed, and that caused her to miss 2 plates. And that opens the door for our next shooter to win the women's championship. Here's Judy Woolley at the 25-yard line. She's got 9 seconds to shoot 6 shots.
To win the women's title, Judy can't miss more than 1 target. So far, she's clean. Now, here's her last run at 25 yards.
Judy Woolley does it! Although she missed 1 plate, that's enough of a margin to allow her to win the women's championship in this year's match. She finishes up the NRA Bianchi Cup with 1,906 points and 157 X's, and is the first woman to exceed 1,900 points in this grueling shooting contest.
Now, in the men's championship race, there are 2 shooters left in contention. Doug Koenig, who's sponsored by Colt and Safariland, and John Pride, who's sponsored by Tasco and Safariland. Both have perfect scores up to now, but both have to face the mail order video moving target event.
This is, without a doubt, the most difficult stage of the entire championship. Koenig is up first. Here he is at the 10-yard line.
He's looking strong so far. 6 perfect shots, all X's. Here's his second string at 10 yards.
As Koenig moves back to the 15-yard line, you can see his target shows 12 10s and 11 X's, so you can see he's shooting in top form at this point.
Koenig's gun jammed, and he was unable to make up 4 of those shots. Now, as we look at it in slow motion, you can see that the round did not chamber properly and possibly could cost him the championship.
Next up at the mail-order video moving target event is John Pride. He's got to shoot a clean score because Mickey Fowler is already in the clubhouse with a perfect score of 1,920 points and a high X count of 168 X's.
Pride's been in this position before. Last year, he could have won the championship, but he dropped 4 points at this same event. This year, this is a test of his concentration.
John Pride is shooting very well. Look at his target, 12 10s and 11 X's. Now, here's his last run from the 35-yard line. He needs 3 good shots, and he'll be the overall champion.
Pride does it, 480 points and 44 X's, with an overall total score of 1,920 points and 174 X's. Lenny McGill is down on the sidelines with this year's champion, John Pride.
We work very hard, but it is exciting. It makes me very, very happy. All I want to do is clean it. And what really puts the cherry on the cake is my partner, Mickey Fowler, who I wish could have won too. In a sense, he did win. You know, we're Team Tosco. I trained at his ranch. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have done it. So I feel like he's part of this too, being number one, even though it's his first 1920. It was wonderful. And I'm very thankful.
So does it feel good?
It's the best feeling in the whole world.
Don't go away. Shooting action continues with the Colts Speed event right after this. The Colts Speed event is a favorite both with spectators and competitors alike. Here the shooters stand 10 yards from 5 knockdown steel targets and at the tone draw and shoot as fast as possible. The object is to knock down all the plates. The center plates electronically stop the timer, so the fastest to the center wins.
Ready!
Earlier in the women's shoot-off, Judy Woolley defeated Australia's Dewey Hazelton with a time of 2.69 seconds. In the seniors final, 64-year-old Ken Tapp defeated John Farley with a time of 2.43 seconds. Lenny?
Okay, Tom. In the men's shoot-off, we're down to the top 2 shooters. And what a pair! Rob Latham is probably the best all-around pistol shooter in the world. And he faces a relatively new but very fast shooter, Bruce Pyatt. They'll shoot the best out of 5, and the winner takes home an additional $2,500 in cash.
That first round goes to Bruce Pyatt with a time of 2.14 seconds to Latham's 2.27 seconds. Remember, that time includes the draw and the 5 shots. Now, here's the second run.
Rob Latham evens up the score with a time of 2.19 seconds to Pyatt's 2.57 seconds. Latham is sponsored by Springfield and Safariland Holsters, and Pyatt shoots for Caspian Arms and Safariland.
Latham has a good time, but Pyatt is faster, 2.41 seconds. Pyatt leads 2 strings to Latham's 1.
Latham needs to speed it up on this run because Pyatt is shooting very aggressively.
Bruce Pyatt does it. His time of 2.71 seconds wins the Colts Speed event and $2,500 in cash.
Congratulations are in order for the 1994 champions. Junior, Chad Dietrich, women's winner, Judy Woolley, and the overall men's champion with a perfect score of 1,920 points and 174 X's, John Pride. So from the Ray Chapman Academy of Practical Shooting located here in Columbia, Missouri, this has been the National Rifle Association's National Action Pistol Championship. Thanks for watching. I'm Lenny McGill, and safe shooting.
The NRA Bianchi Cup has been brought to you by Action Target Incorporated, Colts Manufacturing, Gilmore Sports Concepts, Mail Order Video, the National Shooting Sports Foundation, Tasco Optics, Winchester Ammunition, and the National Rifle Association of America.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 1992 USPSA National Championships. I'm Lenny McGill, and today we're coming to you from Quincy, Illinois, at the Pike Adams Sportsman Alliance Shooting Facility, one of the nicest shooting facilities in all of America. Over the past 5 years, I've covered the National Championships for video cassette and on network television. And during that time, we've seen a lot of changes. Changes that have helped shape this sport into what it is today. In 1986 and 1987, most competitors were shooting 1911 style 45. And the big innovation of the time, believe it or not, were compensators. In 1988 and 1989, the top competitors were switching over to 38 Super, and a lot of other shooters were soon to follow. Shortly thereafter, everybody started going to high-capacity magazines. This changed the way stages were designed and how they were shot. In 1990, Jerry Barnhart introduced the scope to IPSC competition, and he did it in style as he won that year's championship. Soon thereafter, scoped pistols were the norm, and a whole new product category was formed as thousands of shooters mounted a scope and realized faster times and better scores. Now, new for 1992, the evolution of the fastest, most exciting, and most fun shooting sport in the world continues. The McCormick Trip modular frame is the hot new ticket this year. We'll talk with Chip McCormick and get a close-up look at this incredible frame. Safariland introduces a new and radically improved holster. Rob Latham and Jerry Barnhart are testing prototypes at this year's match. We'll talk with Scott Carnahan from Safariland to see how it works. The USPSA has introduced limited class competition, which allows shooters to compete with out-of-the-box guns. We'll talk with USPSA board members Bill Rogers and John Sale about this new and exciting class. And of course, this year you'll see lots of scopes, many different high-capacity guns, and a couple of surprises which all help make up this part of the USPSA experience. Now don't go away, because coming up we've got segments on each and every one of those developments, plus of course the fast and furious action of the 1992 USPSA National Championship.
With a score of 23-73, with 112 X's, National High Power Rifle Champion, Mr. G. David Tubb.
In sporting competitions of skill and ingenuity, it seems that once in a great while, an individual comes along who completely dominates the competition. Nowhere has this been more apparent than in the sport of high-power rifle shooting. Here, a shooter is challenged by the wind, the sun, and other elements at 200, 300, 600, and 1,000 yards as he attempts to place a bullet the diameter of a pencil into a bullseye that varies from 5 to 10 inches in diameter. High-power rifle shooting is a test of physical skill, acquired knowledge, and mental concentration. Over the past 6 years, one competitor has won more national championships, won more individual awards, and set more national records than any high-power rifle shooter ever to live. His name is G. David Tubb, and his credentials are quite extensive. National high-power rifle champion in 1985, 1986, 1988, 1990, and 1991. Holder of the national championship record score with 2,381 points out of a possible 2,400 and 118 X's out of 240. National High Power Rifle Silhouette Champion in 1987, 1988, 1989, 1990, and 1991. National Small Bore Light Hunting Rifle Silhouette Champion in 1988, 1989, 1990, and 1991. Overall, G. David Tubb has earned 27 open individual national championships and hundreds of regional, local, and individual titles. He is, without a doubt, the most accomplished and skilled high-power rifle shooter to ever compete in organized competition. Welcome to A Day with a Champion, G. David Tubb on high-power rifle competition. This program is divided into 3 informative volumes. Volume number 1 on equipment and 200-yard positions. Volume number 2 on 300 and 600-yard positions. And volume number 3, questions and answers with G. David Tubb. And we follow Mr. Tubb as he shoots a 787 with 28 X's on a windy day at the Oklahoma Regional High Power Rifle Match. And now, here's Lenny McGill with G. David Tubb.
There's only one way to become a recognized master class pistol competitor. You need to practice, 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 and practice some more. This requires the consumption of large amounts of ammunition. In fact, in my interviews with the world's best pistol shooters, it is not uncommon to hear that they shoot 10,000, 20,000, and even 30,000 rounds per year. Because of these large volumes of ammunition, it is imperative for today's competition pistol shooters to reload their own ammo. Of course, there are the obvious money-saving advantages of reloading, but the experienced shooter and reloader knows that by reloading, they can produce better ammunition that will shoot more accurately and more consistently in their particular handgun for their particular sport. Not to forget the fact that today's pistol shooters need to push their ammunition to higher velocities than factory standards. Brian Enos is a world-class master pistol competitor. He has won the NRA Bianchi Cup Pistol Championship as well as the Masters Invitational Championship. Additionally, he was a member of the USPSA Gold Team and a consistent top 10 finisher in all major IPSC, Steel Challenge, and Bianchi Cup type matches. He has reloaded and shot literally hundreds of thousands of rounds over the past 15 years. His knowledge and physical ability of shooting skills and techniques is equaled by his understanding and experience of reloading principles, theories, and practical application. In this program, it is our intention to demonstrate to you the techniques and methods that he has mastered to reload accurate, consistent, and reliable pistol ammunition. Enos uses the Dillon 650 reloading press, but the same principles of setting up the dies, powder measures, and working up loads can be applied to either the Dillon 550 or 1050, as well as any other reloading press on the market. I'm Lenny McGill. Now, here's Brian Enos with competition reloading for IPSC, Steel Challenge, and Bianchi Cup.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land, and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marine. On November 10th, 1775, a few good men got together, and they were called Marines.
Since 1775, the tradition of the United States Marine Corps has grown and developed. Each successive generation of Marines inherits the tradition and pride the Corps has won through sacrifice, honor, and duty to the Corps and country. The battle color ceremony you're about to see reflects those qualities that are truly and uniquely Marine. The battle color ceremony consists of 3 elements which set it apart from all other ceremonies of the Marine Corps: the Drum and Bugle Corps, the Silent Drill Team, and the battle colors. From the Marine Corps Recruit Depot in San Diego, California, let's get started with the Drum and Bugle Corps. Each year, the United States Practical Shooting Association conducts a national championship to determine who is the best practical shooter in the country. Men, women, and juniors travel from all corners of the United States to compete in the single largest practical pistol shooting match held. This program highlights the equipment used by the top 13 shooters at this competition, with particular emphasis on the pistols themselves and the modifications performed on these pistols to make them more reliable, more accurate, and easier to shoot. Now, here's our first shooter in Top Guns of the USPSA. The 1911 style pistol is without a doubt one of the most successful combat pistols ever invented. This pistol has, since its acceptance in 1911, armed the United States Navy and Army before being replaced by the Beretta in 1991. The original M1911 was invented by one of the most creative minds to ever live in the firearms world, John Browning. This design has withstood the test of time and real combat and continues to be a design of choice for special forces, law enforcement, and competition shooters worldwide. The information contained herein can be easily adapted to help you disassemble and reassemble any 1911 style pistol you might own or come into contact with, regardless of manufacturer or date of origin. Now, direct from Wilson's Gun Shop, here's Master Pistolsmith Ron Phillips.
Ready!
Speed. Accuracy. Consistency. Concentration. These are the cornerstones of success in what is now the most prestigious pistol competition in the world. The National Rifle Association's National Action Pistol Championship, also known as the NRA Bianchi Cup.